All right, back with me is Middle East analyst Brad Hirschfield. Brad, you heard your report. He's just not going away, Ehud Barak, 77 years old. He's certainly done a lot for the state of Israel, certainly served it in many ways, and now he wants to serve it again with a new political party. What do you think his chances are?
Well, the initial polling is 6 seats. What's interesting is where the seats come from. So in the new polling, you see blue and white down 2, Likud down 2, and 2 additional seats. The electoral math is actually in his favor, and that's exactly the reason that Prime Minister Netanyahu is saying, maybe we shouldn't have the very elections that I engineered happening, because he understands that what Barak does bring, that the others seem not to quite as much, is a credibility to draw not only a galvanizing capacity in the center and center-left, but credibility on the center-right, because those 6 seats are not only coming from the center-left. If they did, it's a wash and who cares. But it turns out that the right is also down numerous seats, and there's reason to believe that's where he's drawing from, which is exactly why the Prime Minister would like to walk back those elections. But I think Benny Gantz is correct. You can't unring that bell.
And as we know, politics makes for strange bedfellows. Do you see a scenario where you have this new Ehud Barak party joining forces with Likud?
It's hard to imagine, though there is some polling that suggests a not insignificant part of the Israeli electorate would like something very akin to that, though they responded to polling about blue and white joining with Likud. I think Barak basically took the pulse of that and said, no, it's interesting. In his speech where he announced all this to the Israeli Association of Journalists, he spoke very little about foreign policy or economic policy and talked about the core values of Zionism and democracy in the Jewish state. And he spoke about what it means to have a prime minister who seems to be engineering things around one organizing principle, which is keeping himself out of jail. And so whether or not people will agree about the politics, I think what he's successfully tapping into here, obviously we'll have to wait and see, is a sense of exhaustion that Israelis are feeling, not around specific policies, but around a culture of self-service in one particular party.
Right, and that sort of sense of exhaustion and fatigue is perhaps what propelled the success of Benny Gantz and the Blue and White Party.
Absolutely. No question about that.
All right. I'm sure we will continue to discuss this further. Thank you so much, Brad. Rabbi Brad Hirschfield, appreciate it as always.